This house begins with a quiet front court rather than a grand facade. Brick, timber, and low planting set a grounded tone, while the entry sits back far enough to make the approach feel private. The architecture does not depend on one dramatic gesture. Its strength comes from the way every wall and path prepares you for the garden at the center. It feels calm from the street. The front door is framed by timber, brick, and a mature tree, which immediately explains the material language inside. There is warmth in the timber, weight in the masonry, and a softness from the planting at ground level. That mix gives a courtyard house a more settled character than a facade built mainly from glass and painted render. Nothing is merely decorative here. The entrance does not stop at the threshold. Full-height glazing draws the eye through to the green path beyond, making the internal route feel connected to open air from the first step. It is a simple planning move with a strong effect. Circulation becomes part of the experience of the garden, instead of a leftover corridor between rooms. At the heart of the plan, the courtyard works as an outdoor room shared by the whole house. Dense planting makes the view feel established, while the low brick walls and glazed rooms keep every edge legible. You can see where the home begins and ends, yet the garden is present from almost every direction. That is private indoor-outdoor living with real structure. Each room gains its own outlook. The living room looks inward to the planted court, rather than outward to a distant view. A fireplace, low seating, and timber ceiling make it feel enclosed enough for evenings, but the glazing keeps the garden close. This is the advantage of a central court. The room gains daylight and greenery, without giving up the sense of shelter that makes a home comfortable. Garden light changes the room hourly. The kitchen and dining area are positioned for daily use, not occasional display. Walnut cabinetry provides depth. The stone island gives the room a durable center, and the glass doors open directly to the courtyard. Cooking, breakfast, and conversation can move outside without anyone having to cross a formal living room. The plan supports family life in a very natural way. That makes everyday meals feel connected. By evening, the courtyard becomes a dining room with a different mood. A round table sits beneath the timber ceiling. Warm lantern light falls across the paving, and the planted boundaries make the meal feel separate from the rest of the garden. The space works because it is contained. It offers atmosphere without needing a large terrace or a showpiece pool. Its scale encourages long, unhurried dinners. The bedroom uses a slatted timber screen to protect privacy while keeping the garden in view. Built-in joinery avoids the need for freestanding furniture, so the room remains calm and uncluttered. This is a good example of how a courtyard can serve private rooms as well as social ones. The outlook feels leafy and protected, not exposed to neighbors. The screen adds texture after sunset. Even the bathroom receives a proper connection to planting. The stone bath and timber vanities sit beside a dense green wall, which gives the room a spa-like stillness without relying on decorative excess. Glass is used carefully here. It opens the room to light and leaves, but the enclosed garden keeps the experience private enough for everyday use. Leaves soften the pale morning light. A family nook beside the court can be more valuable than a second formal lounge. Built-in storage keeps games, books, and breakfast pieces close at hand, while the view through the opening gives the small room a generous feeling. It is the kind of space that earns its place over time because it supports ordinary routines as well as relaxed weekends. This covered terrace, shows the difference between looking at a garden and actually living with it. The ceiling creates a sense of enclosure. The low wall gives the seating a boundary, and the planting does the rest. It works in changing weather because it has enough depth to be a room. That makes it useful far beyond the first warm weekend. It also creates a protected morning spot. A library corner belongs well in a courtyard house because it can borrow a quiet garden view without becoming another open-plan zone. Dark timber shelves give the room depth, and one comfortable chair is enough to make it feel intentional. The garden opening keeps the space from becoming heavy. It is private, but it never feels cut off. One opening is enough for freshness. The long passage turns movement through the home into a measured sequence of timber frames, filtered light, and glimpses of planting. Instead of treating a corridor as dead space, the design gives it a view at regular intervals. That is a useful mid-century habit to bring back. A route through a house should have rhythm, light, and a reason to slow down. Repeating frames make distance feel shorter. At dusk, the entrance court reveals how the plan holds together. The mature tree sits at the center of the view. Warm light gathers behind the glass, and the brick walls keep the composition calm. The house does not need an oversized statement entrance. Its sense of arrival comes from the way landscape and architecture meet at a human scale. It is generous without being extravagant. The exterior corner makes the construction easy to read. A deep timber eave shades the glazing, brick provides texture and permanence, and the courtyard planting sits close enough to soften every hard edge. These materials age well because they are honest about what they are. The building feels considered without appearing overfinished or too precious to live in. The palette remains consistent across each elevation. From above, the real idea becomes clear. The rooms form a protective ring around one planted open space. The courtyard is not a leftover gap between wings. It is the organizing element that brings daylight, privacy, and orientation to the plan. This arrangement gives a family house a clear center, especially when the surrounding site is ordinary or closely overlooked. The arrangement gives children and adults equal access. The kitchen looks especially inviting after dark, because the warm joinery is balanced by the garden beyond the glass. Indoor light and exterior shadow sit side by side, so the room still feels connected to the heart of the house. This is where the courtyard earns its keep, late in the day, when a distant garden would disappear from view. Even cooking remains part of the garden life. The night path is deliberately restrained. Low lights guide the route, brick walls absorb the darkness, and thick planting makes the narrow garden feel protective rather than cramped. A courtyard home benefits from this kind of after-hours detail because people continue to move between rooms and outdoor spaces after sunset. The garden remains part of the plan, even at night. From the street, the home keeps its privacy. Brick walls, a timber gate, and the canopy of the tree give the approach a calm, almost sheltered quality, while the lit entry hints at the garden within. It is an appealing alternative to a glass-fronted house. The most memorable part of the property is held back for the people who live there. Privacy becomes part of the home's appeal. The closing view gathers the whole idea in one frame. Rooms around a green center, timber overhead, warm light inside, and a garden that belongs to every part of the home. The courtyard is not an accessory. It is the daily meeting point between cooking, resting, working, and dining. That is why this mid-century arrangement still feels so relevant today. That central garden, makes everyday life feel shared.